What is going on, guys? In this stock analysis and due diligence video, we are going to be going over the ticker symbol TLSS, which stands for Transportation Logistics Systems. Now, I'm not only going to tell you why this stock is great short term for a nice swing, but also why I believe it's a good long-term stock. So before we do that though, my name is The Cash Creator and I want you guys to consider subscribing to this YouTube channel and giving me a follow on Twitter right now for more great stock picks. So let's get right into the video. First and foremost, TLSS Due Diligence. So what this company is they are a leading logistics and transportation company that specializes in e-commerce fulfillment, last mile deliveries, so they take it from the point of shipping all the way to someone's house, two-person home delivery, and line haul services, which is also deals with shipping. It could be air freight or rail freight, whatever, delivering via different means. And they do this for some of the world's largest and leading online retailers. So this company TLSS, they recently announced the acquisition of Cougar Express. This was announced in November 2020, and the deadline for this acquisition is February the 16th. And if you haven't checked your date, that date is tomorrow. So it could be a good time to get in tomorrow at pre-market if you've got Webull or a trading broker with pre-market, because if this acquisition is announced tomorrow like it's predicted, because the deadline is tomorrow, then you will very likely see an increase in the share price after this acquisition is announced, and it will be an easy chance for some quick profits before there's a bit of a sell-off for people taking profits. So it could be a really easy one-day short swing. Later on, I'm going to talk to you about why I do also think this is great long-term. So logistics market, the actual market size and market share for logistics industry is projected to reach $12,256 billion by 2022. And to show you evidence, I'm going to go here. You can read this report if you want. I can leave a link in the description for you guys, but it is a huge industry with deliverers like FedEx, other organizations like TLSS, which they are trying to become the next FedEx or whatever, for example. There is huge potential in this industry. Okay. Another thing about this company, they currently have contracts with Amazon and Ship Direct, delivering their packages, for example, but this actually expires on May the 14th, and it's right now to be confirmed if it's extended. And we don't know, it could actually be, even if it isn't extended, it could be a good thing, because previously when they got this contract, they weren't as they didn't have as much pedigree as they do right now, and now with much more interest, a greater share price, for example, there's a lot more eyes on the stock and eyes on this company, so they would be able to negotiate a better deal with Amazon if they negotiated it today, for example. So we don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but it could get extended. It could be a better deal, or it could be the same deal. We don't know. I'm not privy to that information. Now they also added Ship FX as a subsidiary on November the 14th. I should have mentioned actually that this acquisition, it was announced in November 2020. Actually, I didn't announce that. Anyway, let's continue. The way they actually purchase these organizations is via an acquisition vehicle. So they are intending to purchase Cougar Express via an acquisition vehicle. So they have a subsidiary company that I'm going to be talking about later. It is called TLSS Acquisition Inc, as you can see, and they purchase it via that. And the reasons for that is because the debt stays off the actual main operator, and there are no unknown liabilities, for example. It's also a repeatable process, for example, like Coach USA, which I'm going to be talking about later on as well. But basically what the story is with Coach USA is in a similar industry for buses, for example, bus routes and stuff like that. But the CEO, who's the CEO of TLSS today, he was the CEO of Coach USA in the 90s, and he used these acquisition vehicles. He acquired various different companies. I believe it was 75 different companies to increase his market share, and it turned into $1 billion company. We're going to talk about that later on, but it's a very repeatable process that they are trying to do here at TLSS with the same CEO. So it could be a great long-term stock with this man on board. Okay, and other benefits of this is it's a smooth financial transaction when the books reflect the assets, liabilities, and the balance sheet from a single holding company. Okay, now let's talk a bit about the catalysts that are coming up for TLSS. So some of these catalysts is Q4 earnings in mid-February. I don't know how that's going to be, how it's going to look. I believe Q1, like Q1 of 2021, which will be in mid-May, those will look much, much better because of the new acquisitions that have come through. For example, DD Trucking, which we're going to talk about later, Double D Trucking, that was acquired on January the 12th, and then probably Cougar Express as well. So the Q1 earnings will look better because of the fact that they've got more organizations under their banner after the acquisitions and more revenues, obviously. There's also a potential GRS trucking acquisition, which is on hold due to COVID. But if you look at this article in 2020, it said they entered into an agreement to acquire the assets of GRC trucking, but it got put on hold on COVID. Okay, so let's continue with the other catalysts coming up. Again, like I said, the Cougar Express deal the deadline is tomorrow. So it could be a very quick swing if you buy in pre-market or as the market opens, and then there's a chance that the share price will go up. And again, in anticipation of the deal being concluded sometime tomorrow. So it may get more shareholder interest, more people buying in tomorrow. And then obviously if the deal is announced, there'll be a lot more people piling in, and then the share price will go up, in my opinion, before a bit of a sell-off. Also recently in 8K filings, it's indicated they're working to uplist to OTCQB, and they're also looking to get onto the New York Stock Exchange. But to do that, they have to meet various criteria, and they'd probably have to do a reverse split. Okay, and other potential catalysts is more acquisitions. For example, we are now having COVID vaccines all over the world, so it's likely that sometime this year, I'd say before Q2 finishes, COVID will be an afterthought, hopefully. I don't know, I can't tell the future, but it is looking like we are beginning to see a post-COVID world. So it could very well mean that there will be more people traveling and more opportunities, and then more acquisitions, for example. Okay, but again, even if it stays, even if COVID stays, I do think it's a good opportunity for deliverers such as TLSS, because people do online shopping, for example, e-commerce, and it just brings loads of opportunity for people like TLSS, because they'll be people will be buying things off Amazon. I mean, I just bought something off Amazon yesterday. Anyway, let's continue. So Cougar Express, as I said, the deal was announced in November 2020. Deadline is tomorrow. It's valued at 2.5 million, and they are a New York-based full-service logistics provider specializing in pickup, warehousing, and delivery services in the tri-state area. So that's around the New York area, and again, they are being acquired via a subsidiary. Again, in early January, Double D Trucking Inc. was acquired for $100,000 and $400K as a promissory note. So that will be promised and it will be paid in future. And DDTI has been working with FedEx for 25 years, and TLSS actually gets rights over the FedEx routes that DDTI has. And if you do a quick Google search, you can find out the approximate value of a FedEx route. They're approximately 100K. So imagine taking over all these routes. It's in fact, even if you're not into the stock market, I think it's a good business opportunity actually, taking over FedEx routes. Okay, now let's talk specifically about the CEO, John Mercadante. He has $2 million of his own money invested in this company. He joined in 2019, and he is paid with shares, which is unusual, but he doesn't take a salary. He's paid with shares. So good performance means he gets more money. So obviously he is interested. It's in his best interest for the share price to go up. So he and I and you, if you're investing in this, we're all on the same page. We all want the share price to go up so we can all profit. Okay. And a little bit about him, like I said previously, he took over Coach USA in 1996. So that firm owns local companies that operate scheduled bus routes, motor coach tours, and city sightseeing tours, okay, in America. And in 3 years, he joined in 1996 Coach USA. In 3 years, their revenue went up from 100 million to 1 billion. So this guy has pedigree. He knows what to do. And again, it's a very similar industry. Okay, and let's go on to the website of TLSS. Here is the website, but I'm just looking at the management team section. As you can see here, he co-founded Leisureline Inc., a motor coach company serving in New York City and Atlantic City. And let's continue and find the Coach USA section. Yes, so here Cape Transit became one of the founding companies of Coach USA, and he became the president and CEO. And then they had over 70 acquisitions during the 3-year period following their 1996 IPO. And he was obviously integral in improving the revenues from over 100 million to $1 billion in only 3 years. Okay, guys? So obviously that is supremely incredible. Okay? And he can do the same thing here. So he's only been in the company since 2019. So 3 years would be 2021, 2022. So imagine he just starts doing acquisitions, and acquisitions are obviously great because they increase the market share. Okay, so yeah, this guy has pedigree. He's been in a similar industry, transportation, making money via transportation, because that's what it is, whether you're operating sightseeing tours or you're delivering different e-commerce packages. It is transportation and you're making money off it. So he has pedigree in this industry, and he knows how to grow a company via acquisitions. So why is this so important, all these acquisitions? So first and foremost, it increases your market share through these acquisitions. You also create a repeatable process that can easily be followed on future deals, because they already have TLSS Acquisition Inc. set up, so they can do the same process again and again and again. And when you repeat the same thing, you get efficiency. It also limits legal and financial exposure to TLSS by isolating acquisitions in an acquisition vehicle. And again, like I said a million times, or I should have said billion times, they're following the same proven playbook that allowed them to build Coach USA into a $1 billion company. Now then, let's go into the stock analysis section. So as you can see, here is the TLSS stock. They currently have a market cap of 32 million, even though they acquired a company worth over 2.5 million. They're about to do that now. As you can see, as I said over here, Cougar Express is valued at 2.5 million. So they've just acquired that company. Their market cap is only 32 million. Okay. They have incredibly high volume at 25.24, and as I've always said, I believe with penny stocks it's important to have a high volume, because hype and volume, very often if you're looking for a short-term penny swing, those are incredibly important. So if you compare that to other penny stocks, 25.24 million volume for a company that's under 7 cents is pretty good. Okay, the previous close was at 6.45 cents. And then the last close was at 6.6 cents. Okay, so that's the kind of area they are. Okay, and again, let's look at the share. Let's look at the actual chart. So as I said, the acquisition of Cougar Express was announced in end of November. So as you can see, in end of November time and December, the share price started moving up, and then it really shot up in January when they announced the closing of the deal for DD Trucking. Okay, because that was in January. Let me just click here, January the 12th, they acquired it. And as you can see, the share price really went up in January. Okay, that's January the 11th. And here on the 12th, it really went up to 9 cents. Okay, just under 9 cents. So as you can see, after that, as is natural, there's always a pullback. Because again, it was announced that the deal will be later on. It will be, the deadline for the deal will be 16th of February. So there was a pullback and there was a sell-off. But then as the deal continues to get closer, people have started getting interested again. And I do believe when this deal closes, if it closes tomorrow, there will be another spike, just like there was when the DD Trucking Inc. deal was closed. So that could be a very quick swing for you guys if you are interested in this company. Okay, and yeah, also if this deal doesn't close, you have to remember it could be a good chance to buy in, because if it doesn't close by tomorrow, which they said the deadline was, the share price will no doubt go down. So I do still think a deal will happen. They've already entered into an asset purchase agreement with Cougar Express. So the deal is bound to happen. It's just a matter of when. So if it doesn't happen tomorrow, the share price will go down. And as a result of that, it could be a great chance to buy in at a dip. Okay. Because that's what I love to do. I always love to buy dips, never buy the hype, and I never chase. Okay. So, you know, think about it yourself. Do your own stock analysis, do your own due diligence. If you are not bought on this, on buying on potential news, then don't. But I do still think they are good for long term. So just add it to your watch list maybe and see, keep an eye on the stock price. And if it does dip, then think about buying in. But yeah, like I said, do your own due diligence, do your own stock analysis. Thank you for watching this video though. This is the Cash Creator signing off. Peace out.